Hi, I'm Chef Janine Booth, and today I have the pleasure of working with some incredible Aussie beef. This is one of my favorite cuts of all time, the New York strip or striploin. I tend to go with the New York strip because it's a little leaner and has beautiful marbling. And the beauty of this Aussie beef is that they tend to come a little bit smaller than American beef. So when you cut them into New York strips, you can get like a nice thick cut without it being an 18-ounce steak. But today we're actually going to talk about something a little bit different, the Manhattan cut. And that's one of my favorite cuts. So it's pretty versatile in the way that we actually cut the loin down the center. And we're able to cut these really nice thick steaks without them getting into, you know, a 12-ounce, 14-ounce, 16-ounce, or 18-ounce steak. So it's really good for an individual portion and without, you know, losing the quality of being able to get a really nice sear and still keeping it medium rare. You can also do the Manhattan cut for a carving station. And that would be cutting it down the center and leaving it whole, roasting it whole. You could even do like a reverse sear on that, cooking it slow and low at about 225 degrees until it gets to be about 125 degrees internal temperature. Then searing it on all sides and then slicing it for a carving station if you've got like an event or a wedding, something like that. When you get some really nice, beautiful slices out of that, without committing to the whole strip loin. So we're going to start by breaking this down. First of all, I always like to remove this big band of connective tissue, sometimes called the nerve or the rope. It's very, very chewy, it's very gristly, and it's not very palatable. So we are going to start by removing this, and this band, once this is off, the rest of the fat is just pure, beautiful, rendable, beautiful fat. This big band of connective tissue is just not very delicious. There's not a whole lot of thick fat on here, but I am going to trim this down just a touch. And all that beautiful fat, that can be rendered down into tallow. A lot of people are talking about the health benefits of tallow right now. I personally love cooking with it. I also use it in skincare products. So there is a lot of beautiful, you know, lots of minerals, lots of vitamins in this beautiful fat that can be used in a multiple of applications. So just trimming some of that down a little bit. You don't want to remove too much of it. This fat is flavor, but okay, so I think that's looking pretty good on this side. So you'll see this end here, this is going to have so much marbling and beautiful flavor. This is actually the end that's going to extend into the ribeye. Whereas this end down here, you have a little bit more of that sinew. That's the sirloin end, so a little bit more of that sinew there, but all beautiful, beautiful flavor. Okay, so we are going to turn this over and we're just going to trim the back side of it. So you'll see, you know, this area, as I mentioned, goes into the ribeye. So we're just going to clean some of this thick silver skin off. But the great part about Aussie beef is that how it comes packaged, it is already very, very well trimmed. And there's really not a whole lot to trim off. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So now that we have cleaned up our strip loin, we are going to go ahead and make this into our beautiful Manhattan steaks. So we're going to start by finding our halfway point, and I'm just going to make one first cut just to kind of create my guide. And I feel like I'm pretty happy with that. So now we're just going to go through and cut down, trying to essentially get 2 even pieces out of this. Beautiful. Okay, so at this point, we could season this up, we could put this on a grill, we could roast this in the oven, We could do the reverse sear technique of, low and slow at about 225 Fahrenheit until we reach an internal temperature of 125, and then heavily searing in, a cast iron pan or on a really hot grill. And that could be a perfect use for a carving station, for an event. And then we're gonna take it one step further and cut these into some thick Manhattan steaks. So I'm going to put this one over here so you can see what I'm working with. So this one still has quite a bit of a thick fat cap on here. So I'm just gonna take this down just a touch further on this side, because we do want a beautiful fat cap, but on this middle part, it is just a little thick for my liking. Okay, we're looking good. All right, so I'm gonna start at this end, and I'm aiming for about 8 to 9 ounces here. So we're gonna get a nice thick cut steak. So there we have it. We've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 beautiful steaks out of one strip loin. So this definitely helps with your food costs in the back of the house. Rather than serving a big 16-ounce steak, you can serve a 8 to 9 ounce portion, beautifully cut, beautifully presented, very, very little waste. These Manhattan steaks are perfect to pan sear or grill. So you can get a nice heavy sear on each of the sides and still have a beautiful medium rare steak. This presents so nicely on a plate. It looks almost like a fillet, and everybody loves their fillet. The smaller portion of a fillet is sometimes what people gravitate towards purely because they can get an 8-ounce portion. But this is, all of the beautiful things that we love about a New York strip in a big, thick cut piece. Looks beautiful on a plate as the center of the plate. And it's definitely one of my favorite cuts, the Manhattan cut all the way. So another thing to mention about this very special cut is that if you take, what looks like quite a square edged cut, we can actually just work with our hands and just round those edges, and it actually ends up looking more like a fillet, which definitely people's perception of value is definitely something that can keep in mind for that. And another reason why I love the Manhattan cut. It's a beautiful piece of meat.